Dr. Emily Parker's eyes fluttered open to the harsh, fluorescent glare of unfamiliar lighting. The icy chill of metal pressed against her back and limbs, a stark contrast to the warmth she remembered from her ship's cockpit. She blinked rapidly, trying to clear her vision and make sense of the surreal environment. Her head throbbed painfully, remnants of the tranquilizer that had subdued her during the abduction. Emily attempted to move, but found her arms and legs bound by thick, coarse ropes. Panic surged through her as she struggled against her restraints, the rough fibers biting into her skin. She was dressed in her usual exploration attire, a plaid shirt now smeared with blood and grime. Her captors had stripped her of her equipment, leaving her defenseless in this alien prison. The room she was in was sterile and unwelcoming, walls lined with sleek alien technology that hummed ominously. Suddenly, a door at the far end of the chamber slid open with a hiss, and a figure stepped into view. Emily's heart skipped a beat as she took in the sight of her captor. A towering creature with a glistening exoskeleton, its elongated head and sharp, jagged teeth making it look like a nightmare come to life. The alien's eyes glowed with a predatory intelligence as it approached her, its footsteps echoing ominously in the enclosed space. Emily's breath came in short, fearful gasps. She had faced many dangers in her career as an astrobiologist, but nothing had prepared her for this. The creature's presence exuded a malevolence that chilled her to the bone. "Why have you come to our domain, human?" The alien's voice was a harsh, guttural rasp, its words translated by a device hanging from the ceiling. The mechanical voice was devoid of emotion, adding to the surreal horror of the situation. Emily swallowed hard, trying to steady her voice. "I'm a scientist," she began, her voice trembling despite her efforts to stay calm. "I was on a research mission. I mean no harm to you or your kind." The alien's eyes narrowed, and it let out a low, menacing growl. "Lies!" it spat, moving closer until its face was inches from hers. "Your kind brings destruction wherever it goes!" Emily flinched as the alien's claws grazed her cheek, leaving a thin trail of blood. She bit her lip to stifle a cry, refusing to show weakness. Her mind raced, trying to find a way to reason with this creature, but its hostility was palpable. Days blurred into nights as Emily was subjected to relentless interrogation. The alien, whom she had mentally named Zalgor, seemed to take perverse pleasure in her suffering. Each session was a test of endurance, as Zalgor sought to break her spirit and extract information she did not possess. Her body bore the marks of his cruelty, but her will remained unbroken. In her moments of solitude, Emily's analytical mind worked tirelessly. She observed the alien ship's layout, the routines of her captors, and the technology that surrounded her. The cold, clinical environment offered little in terms of comfort, but it provided her with the tools she needed to plan her escape. She noticed that the guards changed shifts at regular intervals, creating brief windows of opportunity. One night, during one such shift change, Emily noticed a critical flaw in the door's locking mechanism. It was a small oversight, but one that could mean the difference between life and death. Her hands, though bruised and bleeding, had retained their dexterity. She waited patiently, biding her time until the moment was right. The next shift change came, and with it, Emily's chance. As the door slid open and the guards began their routine, she used a shard of metal she had covertly secured to cut through her restraints. Her muscles screamed in protest, but she pushed through the pain, driven by the primal urge to survive. Once free, she slipped through the door, her heart pounding with adrenaline. The alien ship was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each one more bewildering than the last. Emily moved swiftly and silently, her senses heightened by fear and determination. She knew that discovery would mean certain death, but the thought of freedom propelled her forward. She reached the control room, a sprawling nexus of alien technology. Her fingers danced across the unfamiliar controls, guided by instinct and desperation. She managed to access the ship's navigation system, setting a course for the nearest human outpost. The ship shuddered as it changed trajectory, alarms blaring throughout the vessel. Emily's escape had not gone unnoticed. Zalgor and his minions were hot on her trail, their roars of anger echoing through the corridors. She fought back with everything she had, using the alien technology she had hastily learned to fend off her pursuers. Her escape pod, a small, single-person craft, was her only hope. Clambering inside, she sealed the hatch just as Zalgor reached the hangar. The pod's engines roared to life, propelling her away from the alien ship and towards the uncertain safety of space. As she drifted through the void, Emily sent a distress signal to the nearest human outpost, praying that someone would receive it. Exhausted and battered, Emily allowed herself a moment of relief. She had escaped the clutches of her tormentors, but the journey was far from over. Her ordeal had only just begun, and the scars of her captivity would remain with her forever. Yet, in that moment, she felt a surge of hope. She had survived, and she would fight to ensure that humanity never faced such horrors again. Emily's escape pod shuddered violently as it entered the atmosphere of the nearest human outpost planet. The distress signal she had sent was picked up, and the pod was guided to a safe landing by the colony's automated systems. As the hatch opened, she was greeted by a group of armed soldiers and medical personnel, their faces a mix of concern and curiosity. "Dr. Parker, you're safe now," said a woman in a medic's uniform, helping Emily out of the pod. Emily's legs wobbled as she stood, the adrenaline that had fueled her escape now replaced by sheer exhaustion. She was quickly whisked away to a medical bay, where she was treated for her injuries and given time to rest. Despite her fatigue, Emily's mind was in overdrive. She recounted her ordeal to the colony's leader, Commander Elias Grant, a stern but compassionate man who listened intently to her every word. "We need to know everything about these aliens," he said, his brow furrowed with concern. "They're a threat we cannot ignore." Emily nodded, her determination renewed. "I learned a lot during my captivity," she began, her voice steady despite the memories that threatened to overwhelm her. "Their technology, their weaknesses, I can help you prepare for them." Commander Grant leaned forward, his eyes locked on hers. "Tell us everything." Emily took a deep breath and began her detailed account of the alien ship. She described the layout, the technology she had observed, and the behavior of the aliens. She spoke of Zalgor, the sadistic leader who had taken pleasure in her suffering, and the relentless interrogations she had endured. Her voice wavered only slightly as she recounted the horrors she had faced, but she pressed on, knowing that every detail could be crucial in the fight against these invaders. The room was silent. As Emily finished her tale, the gravity of her words sinking in. Commander Grant stood and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You've been through hell, Dr. Parker. Your bravery and resilience are commendable. We will take your information and use it to our advantage. These aliens will regret ever crossing us." Emily felt a flicker of hope. She had been a victim, but now she was becoming a key player in humanity's defense. The aliens had underestimated her, and that was their biggest mistake. As days turned into weeks, Emily worked closely with the colony's scientists and military strategists. Her knowledge proved invaluable in developing countermeasures against the alien threat. She shared everything she had learned about the aliens' physiology and technology, helping to devise weapons and tactics that could exploit their weaknesses. One day, while reviewing schematics with the engineering team, an alarm blared through the colony. "Alert! Alien vessel approaching!" The announcement sent a wave of tension through the base. Emily's heart raced as she and Commander Grant rushed to the command center. The alien ship loomed on the main screen, a menacing presence against the backdrop of space. "It's them," Emily said, recognizing the ship's design. "They've come for me." Commander Grant's expression hardened. "Then they'll find we're not so easily intimidated." He turned to his officers, issuing rapid commands. "Prepare the defenses. Mobilize all units." The colony's defenses roared to life, a flurry of activity as soldiers took their positions and weapon systems powered up. Emily stood by Commander Grant's side, her presence a testament to the resolve that had carried her through captivity and beyond. The alien ship launched its first attack, energy beams slicing through the void. The colony's shields held firm, absorbing the initial onslaught. Emily watched the tactical displays, her mind racing to predict the aliens' next move. "Focus fire on their propulsion systems," she advised. "Without their mobility, they'll be vulnerable." Commander Grant relayed her instructions, and the colony's forces concentrated their fire on the alien ship's engines. Explosions rocked the vessel as the targeted strikes found their marks. The aliens retaliated, but their attacks were less coordinated, their frustration evident. As the battle raged on, Emily's keen observations and insights continued to guide the colony's defenses. She identified patterns in the aliens' tactics, allowing the humans to anticipate and counter their moves. Her knowledge of Zalgor's leadership style proved particularly useful, as she predicted his aggressive strategies and helped devise countermeasures. The tide of battle began to turn. The alien ship, now crippled and vulnerable, struggled to maintain its offensive. Emily's heart swelled with a mix of relief and triumph. They were winning. Commander Grant gave the order for a final assault. The colony's forces unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy blasts, overwhelming the alien ship's defenses. The vessel shuddered under the onslaught, flames and debris spewing into space. In a desperate last attempt, Zalgor himself appeared on the main screen, his visage twisted with rage. "You will pay for this, human!" he snarled, his eyes burning with hatred. Emily met his gaze, unflinching. "You made a mistake, Zalgor. You underestimated us." With a final command from Commander Grant, the colony's forces delivered the decisive blow. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant burst of light, signaling the end of the immediate threat. The command center erupted in cheers, but Emily remained focused. She knew this victory was just the beginning. The aliens would not give up so easily, and humanity had to be prepared for the battles to come. As the dust settled, Emily looked around at her fellow humans, their faces filled with determination and resolve. She had been through unimaginable horrors, but she had emerged stronger, ready to fight for her species' survival. The aliens had tried to break her, but in doing so, they had forged a warrior. Emily knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she was no longer afraid. She had faced the darkness and come out the other side. Now, she would help lead humanity to victory, one battle at a time. The silence of space was a welcome change from the cacophony of battle. The victory against Zalgor's ship had bolstered the colony's morale, but Emily knew this was merely the beginning. Her mind remained sharp, her focus unwavering as she delved deeper into understanding their enemy. Her captivity had taught her more than just pain. It had revealed the aliens' strategies and their potential vulnerabilities. Days after the battle, Emily found herself in the colony's research lab, surrounded by screens displaying various schematics and biological data on the aliens. Her keen intellect was put to good use, deciphering the complex physiology and technology of their adversaries. The colony's scientists, inspired by her insights, worked tirelessly to develop new weapons and defenses. One evening, as Emily was reviewing data on the aliens' energy shields, she received an unexpected visitor. Lieutenant Kara Thompson, one of the colony's top pilots, stepped into the lab. Kara had been instrumental in the recent battle, her daring maneuvers helping to cripple the alien ship. "Dr. Parker, we could use your expertise in the training simulations," Kara said, her tone respectful yet urgent. "Your first-hand experience with the aliens can help us prepare for their next move." Emily nodded, appreciating the lieutenant's directness. "Of course, Lieutenant. The more prepared we are, the better our chances." Kara led Emily to the colony's simulation chamber, a vast room filled with advanced training equipment. As Emily watched, pilots and soldiers ran through scenarios designed to mimic alien attacks. The simulations were impressive, but Emily could see room for improvement. "Focus on their coordination," Emily advised, pointing to a screen displaying the simulated battle. "The aliens operate with a hive mind mentality. Disrupt their communication, and you can create chaos in their ranks." Kara nodded, absorbing the information. "We'll integrate that into the next round of simulations. Thank you, Dr. Parker." The next few weeks were a blur of activity. Emily split her time between the research lab and the simulation chamber, her insights continuously refining the colony's strategies. The soldiers and pilots grew more confident, their skills honed to a razor's edge under her guidance. Despite the progress, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The aliens had been quiet since the battle, and she knew they were not a species to retreat easily. Her suspicions were confirmed one night when an emergency alert jolted the colony awake. "Alert! Alien ships detected on approach vector!" The announcement sent a wave of urgency through the base. Emily and Kara, who had been working late in the simulation chamber, exchanged a grim look. "It's happening," Kara said, her voice steady but tense. "We need to get to the command center." They rushed through the bustling corridors, the colony's personnel mobilizing with practiced efficiency. When they arrived at the command center, Commander Grant was already there, his expression a mix of determination and concern. "Dr. Parker, Lieutenant Thompson," he greeted them, his voice commanding. "We've detected multiple alien ships heading our way. It's a full-scale assault." Emily stepped forward, her mind racing. "We need to disrupt their coordination, focus on their command ship. If we can take it out, the rest will falter." Commander Grant nodded, relaying the orders to his officers. The colony's defenses sprang into action, weapons systems targeting the approaching fleet. Emily watched the tactical displays, her heart pounding as the alien ships drew closer. The battle began with a ferocity that took even the seasoned veterans by surprise. Alien ships unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, their coordinated attacks straining the colony's shields. Emily's insights, however, gave the humans a crucial edge. The colony's forces targeted the command ship, their concentrated fire slowly but surely overwhelming its defenses. Kara, piloting one of the lead fighters, executed daring maneuvers that drew enemy fire away from the command ship's weak points. Her skill and bravery inspired those around her, each pilot pushing their limits to protect their home. Despite their best efforts, the alien command ship was heavily fortified. Emily knew they needed something more, a decisive strike that would turn the tide. An idea sparked in her mind, a risky but potentially game-changing tactic. "Commander, we need to board the command ship," she said, her voice firm. "A small team could infiltrate and disable their coordination from within." Commander Grant hesitated, the danger of such a mission evident, but he trusted Emily's judgment. "All right, Dr. Parker, you lead the team. Lieutenant Thompson, you're with her." Kara nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "Let's do this!" The infiltration team assembled quickly, each member aware of the high stakes. They launched from the colony in a stealth shuttle, using the chaos of the battle to slip past the alien defenses. As they neared the command ship, Emily's heart pounded in her chest, but she pushed her fear aside. There was no room for hesitation. The shuttle docked with the alien ship, and the team moved swiftly, their weapons at the ready. The interior of the command ship was a labyrinth of sleek, alien architecture, but Emily's knowledge of their design guided them. They encountered resistance, but the team fought with precision, their training paying off in the heat of battle. Finally, they reached the command center. Zalgor was there, his expression a mask of fury as he recognized Emily. "You!" he snarled, launching himself at her. Emily stood her ground, her weapon trained on the alien leader. "It's over, Zalgor!" The battle that ensued was fierce and brutal. Zalgor's strength was formidable, but Emily's resolve was unbreakable. With Kara's support, she managed to overpower the alien leader, delivering a decisive blow that left him incapacitated. With Zalgor defeated, Emily accessed the ship's central system, her fingers flying over the controls. She initiated a shutdown of their coordination network, disrupting the hive mind and throwing the alien fleet into disarray. Back at the colony, the impact was immediate. The alien ships, now without centralized control, became disorganized and vulnerable. The colony's forces pressed their advantage, driving the invaders back and securing a hard-fought victory. As the smoke cleared and the last of the alien ships retreated, Emily stood on the deck of the alien command ship, her heart swelling with a mix of relief and triumph. They had faced the darkness once again and emerged victorious. Returning to the colony, Emily and Kara were hailed as heroes. The victory had come at a cost, but it had also shown the strength and resilience of humanity. Emily knew there would be more battles ahead, but she felt a renewed sense of hope. Together, they could face any challenge that came their way. Emily's mind buzzed with the memory of the battle and the calculated risks she had taken. The colony had won a significant victory, but the cost weighed heavily on her. Lives had been lost, and the threat of the aliens still loomed large. She knew that her ordeal was far from over. Every moment spent in captivity had honed her instincts, and now those instincts screamed at her to stay vigilant. In the days following the battle, the colony worked tirelessly to repair the damage and fortify their defenses. Emily threw herself into the effort, her resilience and determination inspiring those around her. She consulted with engineers to improve the colony's shields, advised the military on new tactics, and continued to dissect the alien technology they had salvaged. Despite the flurry of activity, Emily's thoughts often drifted back to the alien command ship. Her confrontation with Zalgor had left her with an uneasy feeling. The alien leader had been a formidable opponent, and his defeat had been too easy. She couldn't shake the suspicion that the aliens had another plan in motion, something they hadn't yet revealed. One night, as Emily pored over schematics in the research lab, an alert sounded throughout the colony. "Unauthorized breach detected in Sector 7, all personnel to combat stations." The announcement sent a chill down her spine. She grabbed her sidearm and sprinted toward the breached sector, her heart pounding with anticipation. When she arrived, chaos greeted her. Alien intruders had infiltrated the colony, their sleek forms moving with deadly precision. Emily joined the fray, her training and experience guiding her actions. She fired at the nearest alien, the energy blast catching it in the chest and sending it sprawling. The battle was fierce and disorienting. Emily fought alongside the colony's soldiers, her mind racing to identify the intruder's objective. As she dispatched another alien, she noticed a group breaking off and heading deeper into the colony. Realization dawned on her. They were heading for the command center. Emily pursued them, her breath coming in short, controlled bursts. The aliens moved quickly, but her intimate knowledge of the colony's layout allowed her to intercept them. She rounded a corner and found herself face to face with a squad of aliens, their eyes glowing with malevolent intent. Without hesitation, Emily opened fire, her shots precise and lethal. The aliens retaliated, their weapons hissing as they discharged. Emily dodged and weaved, her movements fluid and instinctive. She managed to take down 2 more aliens before one of them tackled her, their momentum sending them both crashing to the ground. Emily struggled against the alien's grip, its strength overwhelming. As it raised a blade to strike, a shot rang out, and the alien slumped to the side. Kara stood behind it, her rifle smoking. "Get up, Dr. Parker! We need to move!" Emily scrambled to her feet, adrenaline surging through her veins. Together, she and Kara fought their way to the command center, determined to protect it at all costs. When they arrived, they found Commander Grant and his team fending off the last of the intruders. "They were after our communications hub," Grant said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "They wanted to cripple our ability to call for reinforcements." Emily's eyes narrowed as she scanned the bodies of the fallen aliens. "This was a diversion," she realized. "They wanted us focused here while they executed their real plan." Before Grant could respond, another alarm blared, this time from the hangar. Emily's stomach dropped. "The hangar! They're trying to steal one of our ships!" The trio raced to the hangar where a fierce firefight was already underway. The aliens were attempting to hijack a transport ship, their goal now clear. Emily spotted Zalgor among them, his presence confirming her suspicions. He had survived their last encounter, and he was desperate to escape with valuable intel. Emily and Kara moved in tandem, their coordinated attacks pushing the aliens back. As they reached the ship, Zalgor turned to face them, his eyes blazing with fury. "You meddle in matters beyond your comprehension, human," he snarled. Emily's grip tightened on her weapon. "You underestimated us once, Zalgor. You won't get that chance again." The battle was intense, each side fighting with everything they had. Emily's shots were calculated, each one aimed to disable and deter. Kara's piloting skills came into play as she commandeered a nearby vehicle, using it to block the alien's path to the ship. Zalgor roared in frustration as his forces dwindled. In a last-ditch effort, he lunged at Emily, his claws swiping through the air. Emily dodged, her movements a blur, and fired point-blank into his chest. The energy blast sent him sprawling, his body convulsing before finally going still. The remaining aliens, seeing their leader fall, hesitated. That moment of uncertainty was all the colony's forces needed to overpower them. The last of the intruders were subdued, and the transport ship was secured. As the dust settled, Emily surveyed the scene, her chest heaving with exertion. They had thwarted the aliens' plan, but the cost had been high. She turned to Commander Grant, her expression resolute. "We need to be ready for their next move. This won't be the last time they try something like this." Grant nodded, his face grim but determined. "We'll be ready, Dr. Parker. Thanks to you, we've gained a valuable ally in this fight." Emily felt a sense of pride and responsibility settle over her. She had faced her fears and emerged stronger, more resolute. The aliens had made a grave mistake in underestimating her resilience and the strength of the human spirit. As the colony regrouped and began the process of rebuilding once more, Emily knew that the battle was far from over. But with each challenge, they grew stronger, more unified. And she was ready to face whatever came next, determined to protect her home and her people from the alien menace that threatened their existence. The aftermath of the attack on the hangar left the colony in a state of heightened alert. Repair crews worked around the clock to restore damaged systems, and patrols were doubled to guard against further intrusions. Emily, despite her fatigue, remained at the forefront of the efforts. She knew that complacency could be deadly, and every moment of vigilance was crucial. One morning, as the sun rose over the colony, casting long shadows across the complex, Emily was summoned to the command center. Commander Grant stood by a holographic display, his expression grave. Kara was there as well, her brow furrowed with concern. "We've intercepted a transmission," Grant said, nodding to the communications officer. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a distorted image of an alien ship. The transmission was garbled, but a few words were clear. "Reinforcements, retaliation, destruction." Emily's heart sank. "They're planning a large-scale assault," she said, her voice steady despite the dread gnawing at her. "We need to prepare." Grant nodded. "Agreed. We've already started fortifying our defenses, but we need more than just walls and weapons. We need a strategy that will catch them off guard." Emily considered the options, her mind racing. "What if we take the fight to them?" she suggested. "If we strike their base of operations, we can disrupt their plans before they reach us." Kara's eyes lit up with determination. "An offensive strike. It's risky, but it could work. We'd need to gather intelligence on their location and capabilities." Grant stroked his chin thoughtfully. "We'll need a small, elite team for this mission. Dr. Parker, Lieutenant Thompson, you've both proven yourselves invaluable. Will you lead this operation?" Emily and Kara exchanged a glance, a silent understanding passing between them. "We're in," Emily said firmly. Preparations for the mission began immediately. Emily, Kara, and a hand-picked team of soldiers and engineers spent hours poring over schematics and tactical plans. Using the data Emily had gathered during her captivity, they identified a likely location for the alien base, a remote planet on the outskirts of their known territory. The team boarded a stealth ship, its sleek design equipped with the latest in cloaking technology. As they departed, the colony watched in silence, the weight of their hopes resting on the mission's success. Emily felt a surge of responsibility, but also a steely resolve. They had to succeed. The journey to the alien base was tense, each passing moment filled with anticipation. Emily reviewed their strategy repeatedly, ensuring every detail was accounted for. Kara sat beside her, her hands steady on the controls. "We'll get through this," she said, her voice a steady anchor amidst the uncertainty. When they arrived at the target planet, the stealth ship descended into the atmosphere, its cloaking systems rendering it invisible to enemy sensors. The landscape below was harsh and unwelcoming, jagged mountains rising from a barren wasteland. The alien base was nestled within a massive cavern, its entrance guarded by automated turrets and patrols. Emily's heart pounded as the ship touched down a safe distance from the base. The team disembarked, moving swiftly and silently through the rugged terrain. They approached the cavern entrance, utilizing the cover of darkness and the natural landscape to remain undetected. Inside the cavern, the alien base was a hive of activity. Ships and drones buzzed around, and alien soldiers moved with precision and purpose. Emily signaled the team to spread out, each member taking their assigned position. She and Kara made their way to the central command hub, their objective to disable the base's communication and coordination systems. The closer they got, the more intense the resistance became. Emily and Kara fought side by side, their movements synchronized and efficient. Emily's knowledge of the aliens' tactics and weaknesses proved invaluable, allowing them to anticipate and counter every move. They reached the command hub, a sprawling room filled with alien technology. Emily's eyes scanned the room, identifying the key systems they needed to disable. She and Kara worked quickly, planting charges and hacking into the alien network. An alarm blared and the room flooded with enemy soldiers. Emily's heart raced, but she remained focused. "We need to hold them off until the charges are set," she shouted over the din of battle. Kara nodded, her eyes fierce. "We've got this, Emily. Just keep them off my back." The battle was intense, each second feeling like an eternity. Emily and Kara fought with everything they had, their bond forged in the fires of conflict. Just as it seemed they might be overwhelmed, the charges detonated, a series of explosions ripping through the command hub. The alien base shuddered, systems failing and lights flickering. The confusion and chaos spread quickly, alien soldiers scrambling to regain control. Emily and Kara seized the moment, fighting their way out of the command hub and regrouping with their team. "We did it!" Emily panted, her body aching but her spirit unbroken. "Now we need to get out of here!" The team retreated through the cavern, their path now fraught with enemies thrown into disarray by the destruction. They fought their way to the extraction point, where the stealth ship awaited. As they boarded the ship, Emily cast one last look at the alien base, now a smoldering ruin. They had struck a critical blow against their enemies, but she knew the fight was far from over. The aliens would retaliate, but humanity had shown its strength and resilience. Back at the colony, their return was met with cheers and relief. The mission had been a success, and the immediate threat had been neutralized. Commander Grant greeted them, his face a mix of pride and gratitude. "You've done us all a great service," he said, shaking Emily's hand. "We're one step closer to ending this war." Emily felt a sense of accomplishment, but she remained vigilant. The battle had been won, but the war continued. She would not rest until the alien threat was eliminated and humanity's future was secure. As the colony celebrated their victory, Emily looked around at the faces of those she had fought to protect. They had survived, and they would continue to fight. With each battle, they grew stronger, more unified, and Emily knew that as long as they stood together, they could face any challenge that came their way. The echoes of their recent victory reverberated through the colony, but Emily Parker knew that the respite would be short-lived. The alien forces, though temporarily crippled, would regroup and strike back with renewed fury. The colony had to be prepared for the inevitable retaliation. The leadership met in the command center, its atmosphere charged with urgency and determination. Commander Grant addressed the assembled officers and advisors. "We've dealt the aliens a significant blow, but they'll be back. We need to bolster our defenses and prepare for the next wave. Dr. Parker, your insights have been invaluable. What do you suggest as our next move?" Emily stood, her mind racing with strategies and possibilities. "We need reinforcements from the central human colonies," she said. "Our current numbers won't hold against another full-scale assault. We must also strengthen our alliance with other human outposts. Unity will be our greatest strength." Grant nodded. "Agreed. I've already sent a request for additional troops and resources, but it will take time for them to arrive. In the meantime, we need to fortify our position here." The colony mobilized swiftly, everyone pitching in to enhance their defenses. Emily worked with the engineers to upgrade the shields and weaponry, integrating the alien technology they had salvaged. She also helped devise new training programs, ensuring that every soldier and pilot was ready for the upcoming battles. As they prepared, a sense of camaraderie and resolve spread through the colony. Emily found herself spending long hours in the training simulations, pushing her body and mind to their limits. Kara often joined her, the two forming an unspoken bond forged through shared trials and mutual respect. One evening, as Emily and Kara were sparring in the training room, a communication alert sounded. They paused, breathing heavily, and hurried to the command center. Grant was already there, his expression tense. "We've received a message from a neighboring colony," he said. "They're under attack and need our help." Emily's heart sank. The aliens were striking other human outposts, trying to weaken their collective strength. "We can't ignore this," she said firmly. "If we let them fall, we'll be next." Grant nodded. "I agree. We'll send a task force to assist them. Dr. Parker, Lieutenant Thompson, you will lead the mission." Emily and Kara exchanged a determined look. "We'll do whatever it takes," Kara said. The task force, comprised of the colony's best soldiers and pilots, departed within the hour. As they approached the beleaguered outpost, they saw the telltale signs of battle. Plumes of smoke rising from the ground, flashes of light from energy weapons. The alien ships swarmed like a hive of angry wasps, their coordinated attacks relentless. "Deploy the fighters," Emily ordered, her voice calm but resolute. "We need to draw their fire away from the colony." Kara led the squadron of fighters, her ship weaving through the chaos with remarkable agility. Emily, aboard the command ship, coordinated the attack, her strategic mind analyzing the battle in real time. The humans fought with tenacity and precision, their efforts gradually turning the tide. Despite the ferocity of the alien assault, the task force managed to break through their ranks. Emily directed their fire toward the alien command ship, knowing that disabling it would disrupt the enemy's coordination. The alien vessel, a massive behemoth bristling with weaponry, loomed ominously in the sky. "We need to board that ship," Emily said, her eyes fixed on the target. "It's the only way to ensure their defeat." Kara's voice crackled over the comm. "I'll cover you. Get in there and do what you do best." The boarding party launched from the command ship, their smaller craft slipping through the gaps in the alien defenses. They docked with the command ship, the metallic clang echoing ominously. Emily led the charge, her weapon at the ready. Inside, the alien ship was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each one filled with hostile forces. The boarding party moved with precision, their training and experience guiding them through the chaotic environment. Emily's heart pounded as they encountered pockets of resistance, her every sense heightened by the danger. They fought their way to the ship's control center, encountering heavy resistance at every turn. Emily's mind raced, recalling the layout of the alien ships she had studied. "This way," she said, leading them through a narrow passage that bypassed a heavily guarded corridor. Finally, they reached the control center. The alien commander, a hulking figure with a menacing presence, stood before them. "You dare invade our domain?" it snarled, its voice dripping with contempt. Emily stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. "You attacked our homes, we will defend them." The battle that followed was fierce and brutal. The alien commander fought with relentless ferocity, but Emily and her team matched it with skill and determination. Emily's movements were a blur, her every action fueled by the memories of her captivity and the desire to protect her people. As the fight reached its climax, Emily saw an opening. She lunged forward, her weapon slicing through the alien's defenses. With a final, decisive strike, she brought the commander down, its body collapsing with a heavy thud. The control center fell silent, the remaining aliens retreating in disarray. Emily quickly accessed the ship's systems, initiating a shutdown that would disable its weaponry and communication. The alien fleet, now leaderless and disorganized, began to falter. "Mission accomplished," Emily said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Let's get out of here." The boarding party retreated to their ship, leaving the alien command vessel powerless. As they returned to the colony, Emily felt a surge of pride. They had faced a formidable enemy and emerged victorious, their unity and resilience proving stronger than the aliens' might. Back at the colony, the task force was greeted with cheers and relief. Commander Grant met them, his expression one of deep gratitude. "You've done us all proud," he said. "Your actions have given us a fighting chance." Emily nodded, her heart swelling with determination. "This is just the beginning. We'll keep fighting, and we will prevail." The colony continued to prepare, their resolve strengthened by the success of the mission. Reinforcements from other human outposts began to arrive, bolstering their numbers and morale. Emily knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but she also knew that they were ready to face whatever came their way. As the colony stood united, Emily felt a deep sense of purpose. They had been tested and had proven their strength. The aliens had underestimated them once, but they would not make that mistake again. With each victory, humanity's spirit grew stronger, and Emily was determined to lead them to a future free from fear and oppression. The colony buzzed with anticipation and anxiety as the final preparations were made. Reinforcements from other human outposts had arrived, and the combined forces had been drilled to perfection. Emily Parker stood at the heart of this hive of activity, her mind focused on the crucial battle that lay ahead. The aliens had regrouped, their forces now larger and more formidable. It was clear that the coming clash would be decisive. The command center was a hub of strategic planning with holographic displays showing the layout of the alien fleet and their likely attack vectors. Commander Grant stood at the center, his face etched with determination. Emily, Kara, and the other key leaders surrounded him, each bringing their expertise to bear. "Our scouts report that the alien fleet is on the move," Grant said, his voice calm but urgent. "We estimate they'll be within striking distance by tomorrow. This is it, people. We stand or fall here." Emily took a deep breath, her mind racing through the battle plans they had devised. "We need to hit them hard and fast, disrupt their formation, and prevent them from coordinating their attacks. If we can take out their command ship early, we'll have a significant advantage." Kara nodded, her eyes gleaming with resolve. "Our pilots are ready. We've drilled for this. They won't know what hit them." The hours before the battle were a whirlwind of final checks and preparations. Emily moved through the ranks, offering words of encouragement and ensuring that everyone knew their roles. Despite the tension, there was a sense of unity and purpose that bolstered her spirits. They had faced the aliens before and emerged victorious. They could do it again. As dawn broke, the alien fleet appeared on the horizon, a dark mass blotting out the rising sun. The colony's defenses were activated, shields humming to life and weapon systems primed. The air was thick with anticipation as the two forces prepared to clash. The battle began with a deafening roar. The alien ships unleashed a torrent of energy blasts, their coordinated attack putting immense pressure on the colony's shields. The human forces responded in kind, launching fighters and bombers to intercept the enemy. Kara led the charge, her fighter weaving through the chaos with unmatched skill. Emily remained in the command center, her eyes glued to the tactical displays. She directed the colony's defenses with precision, her strategic mind anticipating the aliens' moves. "Focus on their flanking ships," she ordered. "We need to break their formation." The colony's forces executed her commands flawlessly, their coordinated strikes creating gaps in the aliens' assault. The tide of battle began to shift as the humans pressed their advantage. Emily watched as Kara's squadron penetrated the aliens' lines, targeting the command ship. Kara's voice crackled over the comms. "We're in position, beginning our run on the command ship." Emily's heart pounded as she monitored their progress. The alien command ship was a behemoth, bristling with weapons and defenses. Kara and her pilots dodged and weaved through a hail of enemy fire, their precision and bravery pushing them closer to their target. Suddenly, an alert flashed on Emily's screen. The aliens were launching a counterattack, a squadron of their fighters breaking off to intercept Kara's team. "Kara, watch out! They're coming for you!" "We see them," Kara replied, her voice steady. "Engaging now." The dogfight that ensued was intense, each pilot fighting with everything they had. Kara's skill and leadership shone through as she directed her team, their coordinated maneuvers allowing them to hold their ground. Emily's heart raced with every maneuver, every close call. As the battle raged on, Emily spotted an opportunity. "Kara, there's a weak spot in their defenses. If you can hit it, you can take out the command ship's main reactor." "Roger that," Kara responded. "Going in." Emily watched with bated breath as Kara's fighter dove toward the weak spot, her lasers blazing. The alien defenses tried to respond, but Kara's team held them off, giving her the crucial second she needed. With a final precise shot, Kara hit the reactor. The command ship shuddered, explosions ripping through its hull. "We did it!" Kara's voice rang out, triumphant. "The command ship is going down!" Cheers erupted in the command center as the alien fleet faltered, their coordination shattered. The human forces pressed their advantage, overwhelming the disorganized alien ships. The tide of battle had turned decisively in their favor, but Emily knew the fight wasn't over yet. The remaining alien ships, though disorganized, were still a threat. "Focus on the stragglers," she ordered. "We need to eliminate them completely." The human forces responded with renewed vigor, their attacks relentless. One by one, the alien ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. The battle that had begun with such ferocity was drawing to a close, the alien threat finally subdued. As the last of the alien ships was destroyed, a wave of relief washed over the colony. The battle was won. Emily stood in the command center, her body aching but her spirit soaring. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. The aliens had been defeated, their threat neutralized. Commander Grant approached her, his face alight with pride. "We did it, Dr. Parker. We won." Emily nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "We did, but we couldn't have done it without everyone's bravery and determination. We stood together, and that's what made the difference. The colony celebrated their victory, the air filled with cheers and laughter. Emily and Kara found a quiet moment amidst the revelry, their bond stronger than ever. "We made a great team," Kara said, her eyes sparkling. "We did," Emily agreed, "and we'll keep fighting no matter what comes our way." As the celebrations continued, Emily looked around at the faces of those she had fought to protect. They had faced unimaginable horrors and emerged stronger, more united. The battle had been won, but the war for humanity's future would continue. And with each victory, they grew more confident, more resilient. Emily knew that the challenges ahead would be daunting, but she also knew that they were ready. They had proven their strength, their courage, and their resolve. The aliens had made a fatal mistake in underestimating humanity. Together, they would build a future free from fear, a future where they could live and thrive in peace. And as the stars shone brightly in the night sky, Emily felt a deep sense of hope. They had faced the darkness and found the light. And with that light guiding them, there was nothing they couldn't overcome.